Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Wow, we are back. David
Finally.
Matthias, I know. The BlabberMalt Show, episode 101, May 13th, 2025. And we are out in beautiful sunny Oberlin today.
Yep.
With Sam here at Haven Brewing Company. How you doing, Sam?
Doing well, thank you.
Great. Thanks for having us. I'm looking forward to this. I can smell this pizza over here.
Oh,
it's killing me.
So they had a really cool event here tonight, and I'll let you share some of that later, what you do with your events and how that can happen. But they had a bunch of pizzas here, and we came in, and they were like, well, are you guys hungry? And we're like, yeah, no, you don't have to feed us. And, of course, they did because they're wonderful people. And they're sitting right over there. So
yeah.
They look fantastic.
Distracted.
I'll walk through the menu later with you and kind of hear some of the things about that. Dave, how was your weekend, man?
It was great. Well, actually, there was 2 weekends between our last show and this show.
Oh.
I mean, I don't even remember what I did 2 weeks ago. I mean, it was so long ago. But I did post a little video of a homebrew event I had. It just went live, brewing in my garage. So that was super fun. We had some people commenting on that. We were supposed to go out to Boss Dog. We had some schedule conflicts. And then last week we had our own work schedules got in the way, and we had to, punt on that show. But the
They
stars
punted on
aligned.
us too for 1 week, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad about it.
yeah, it's okay. But we're back.
We're
in
back.
force.
That's it.
The triumphant return of the BlabberMalt Show.
So how's the brew day coming? What's the specs this week?
It's been about 10 days,
Yep.
so it's probably about 90% done. Probably take a gravity reading. It's still perking a little bit. And, the weather started warming up, so diacetyl rest come up a little bit. It's perfect.
Made
It's
you
perfect
happy?
timing. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Well, it was Mother's Day weekend. So
It was, yeah.
I slipped away to Southern Ohio
Nice.
for that. To see my mom over the weekend, which was a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Super excited to do that. Other than that, it's busy around the world. I mean, Big Top's full go. So we were
Nice.
busy there. In Lorraine, we had events all weekend. We had a Mother's Day brunch on Sunday. We had almost 200 people there for that Mother's Day brunch.
LBC? Yeah.
And then we had a wedding the same day. So
Wow.
yeah, lots of craziness
Lots of
happening
work,
there.
yeah. Keep you guys busy.
It's been crazy. How about you, Sam? How was your weekend?
Also Mother's Day, first brunch ever, so that was a big learning curve. Well, in addition to opening earlier, new hours, we added stuff to the menu we hadn't done, so just figuring out the kitchen. My wife and I were both cooking. That was a lot of fun. And people we didn't know made reservations, but also a lot of friends from in town, so, seeing people we loved who knew us, knew the food, new food that we hadn't ever served anyone, so that was really fun to see. One dish, khachapuri, which I don't even know if I'm saying that right. It's like the national dish of Georgia, the country. Yep. So it's this dough with cheese with an egg nestled on top, baked.
Ooh.
It's really delicious. But yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Should have come here.
Should have come here.
Should have, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So we're excited to be here in Oberlin at Haven. We get a chance to try the 7 beers you have on tap, talk about each one of them and kind of the processes and how you brew and the concept of a family establishment and what that looks like. And your wife made our pies for us, and we'll look through the menu, talk about some of those things, and then hopefully get a little tour of the brewery and kind of wrap things up today. So it'll be good stuff.
Sounds good.
Want to get going on one of the beers?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
Number 1, we have you want to say what it is?
So that's Charmin McFarlane. It's an Irish red, and I do that for St. Paddy's Day each year. Now, we were technically open the day after St. Paddy's Day, but we had our friends and family night on St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, I don't want to miss this. I know we're past the season, people brew it ahead of time, but this is one of my favorites, so I had to have it on tap. It'll come back around next year, though.
Yeah. What's in it?
Are you asking my recipe?
It's top secret, bro.
I gotta confess, my brain right now in all of my recipes and all the busyness of opening is a little shot. What I can tell you is that I use rye malt in there, which I feel like really adds something to it, a little unique.
Does have a little bit of that spice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really good. So, talk about brewing, right? How did you get into brewing? Kind of just walk us back the timeline, man. Were you a home brewer? How long have you been doing it? What's it look like? And then
Yeah.
kind of how'd you get to this point?
I guess as a kid, I've always really enjoyed science, biology. I mean, I went to a boarding school. My mom would send me a care package. She'd send grapes. I'd mash them up, put them in a jar, stick them in the attic of my dorm, and watch what happened. So I feel like from an early age, I've been just fermenting things, watching it bubble. I got into brewing about 20 years ago. A friend of mine who's a chemist really, he started me with kits, and he was big on sanitation and just like following the right procedure, and I feel like that set me off on a really good course. Homebrewed since then, and then just honestly, we didn't open this to open a brewery, so that wasn't the focus. We live here in town. We wanted a community space. I feel like the front of house, the room we're in now, is really what we were envisioning, but what do you do to keep it going? What's the engine that drives it? And that's where friends kept saying, open a brewery, open a brewery. I didn't really want to, but after thinking about it long enough, it just kind of made sense as the thing to do.
I mean, as a base of operations, you cannot beat a brewery.
Yeah, and I love brewing.
Al Swearingen
Yeah.
quote.
So, I guess I'd never brewed commercially before.
Yeah.
So starting about late February, now I'm a brewer. No, I think once you know the brewing process, it's the same thing. It's just new equipment. I had to learn the equipment, but the idea, how it works, what to do is there.
Yeah, scaling it up. You're like, wow, I can't lift this brew kettle anymore. I have to pump it somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
What size?
I have a 3-barrel stout system. We're in an old building. I think somebody said to me this is one of the oldest buildings in the downtown. Some of the older ones have been destroyed by fire. So this goes back 1800s. We've got a lot of weird things in here. It was once a furniture store, and they built coffins. It had a grocery store in here. But we wanted to use this space. We wanted this building, and so we had to fit in the back.
Yep.
So it's tiny, it's cramped. My equipment fits in that space. It works for what we do, but
There any ghost stories? Feel like the building's haunted?
I haven't heard any yet.
Okay.
But my wife doesn't like being here alone, so
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
for what it's worth.
yeah, when it's dark and the windows, you don't know who's looking in. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
Well, for the longest time, we had brown paper up, so there was nobody looking in.
Okay.
That was a weird feeling when we finally took it down. I'm like, they can all see me.
Yeah. Behave.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Yeah, sounds good.
And talk about the location. You're literally right downtown Oberlin, with kind of the business district here just south of the college, and right across the street from the FEV, and that's a pretty popular joint here in town. So you said that you were, well, first let's talk about the building. Beautiful window frontage, almost, what's that, 7 foot, 8 foot windows. They're huge, right from the street. See right in. I drive by this street quite a bit, so I saw all of those times with the paper on it. When they first come off, like, yeah, you can see inside. It looks beautiful. What was the kind of the concept of the interior? Because it does have a vibe, It's,
Yeah, we
it's
did
really neat.
we had help, people who helped us with the design, mostly in terms of the color palette, kind of the layout. I actually grew up in South America, so you'll see some of the zigzaggy patterns, things that remind you of maybe like Aztec, Inca architecture, that sort of stuff. If you look at the H in the little white space of our logo, well, sorry camera, I'm pointing at the wall that you can't
Sure.
see. Right here, in this little bit of a white space, you almost see like the outline of a llama, which is reminiscent of the Andes Mountains where I grew up. Just happens that the font works that way, but we like it. My wife says I put the B in subtle, so you'll see a lot of little subtle things like that that I appreciate because I know they're there, and you may or may not ever notice them.
Yeah, I mean, I love the chair designs. The cushions are that kind of that Aztec, very deep
And-
South American feel.
Yeah, and the chairs, these all came from one of Michael Simon's restaurants, Lola or Lolita B-Spot, I can't remember which, and the tables as well. They were in a storage unit. They were in pretty bad shape, and my wife refinished them all. So she's a hard worker.
That's cool.
Stripped them down. Yep, upholstery, the whole bit. So
That's really neat. I
But-
mean, good.
in terms of color, I guess I'd say kind of minimalist, like less is more. Try to, start with a basic design and see what you want to add from there. So it's fairly clean.
Yeah, super clean. I love the white. I love the blue. I love the lights. They are just. We'll look at them and give a tour if you can't see them now. But they are. The whole thing is really, really neat. I mean, obviously, you are in a little eclectic college town with a lot of people who are into the art and the whatever. My daughter would love this. She would walk in and she would say, "Oh, the vibe is cool," and that's kind of what people look for.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of breweries are maybe a little more rustic, I would say, rough around the edges, but this is quite refined. I dig it. How about the name, Haven? It's a real cool name.
So Haven, and it's Haven Brewery.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. My brain flipped that because I was trying to make a point. It's Haven Brewing, not Haven Brewery. And we get a lot of people writing it down as Haven Brewery. But brewing is a verb. It's brewing, it's developing. And we wanted, there's a concept of a third space. You have your home, you have your work, and then you have this third space where it's not home, it's not work, it's something else, but it feels like home. It feels like a place you can go and relax and let down and just connect. So we want to build community and we want a space where that can happen. So Haven is that safe space, and we're brewing it, we're developing it, we're creating a space for people to come for that to happen. So not Haven Brewery, Haven Brewing, and I kind of like our sign outside. The Haven part is lit, so at night it lights up, but the brewing is not. So all you see is Haven, and I love that. I just feel like find your Haven.
It makes sense. Your little respite to the hustle and bustle of your everyday life.
Yeah.
Come in here, have a beer, and chill out.
Yep.
I like it. Very cool. Nice concept. Speaking of chilling out, let's
The
try
beer's
another
getting
beer.
warm.
Yeah.
Next one, number 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is Torante IPA.
Torante. Yep.
What's the naming?
I think my wife made that word up.
It sounds
I
like
gotta
it
be
means
honest.
something.
It kind of, in my head, I have a twisty, turny road in Italy, and I'm on a motorcycle. So I don't know. You come up with your own, but
It's really good. What was the ABV on this one? It's on the board over there. Tom, can you see
I
it?
feel like it's probably around 6.
Yeah,
6
that's
and a
great.
half.
More on the
So
West
it's-
Coast
it-
style.
Yeah, but it's soft, right? So, he says follow the twists and turns of this iconic IPA as it takes you on a surprising journey. So it does have that kind of bitterness. It's wonderful, but it's soft. So that's why I asked about 6, because it could be anywhere in between that. It's not thin whatsoever. It has a nice body and mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And I think even the higher ABVs, anytime I brew, I want it to be balanced. Nothing should be standing out as it all needs to work together. So that's what I'm usually going for.
For sure. So you're from South America. Where's your wife from?
Vermont.
Vermont. She told me that earlier, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of a crazy little thing. And that's kind of, she said that kind of really stimulated her process for the food side, right? Simple, subtle, clean, earth,
Yeah.
good, healthy, all of those things, right?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so, looking through, we'll talk about some of these things before. So what brought you to Oberlin?
So she was a student at the conservatory. She plays violin. We ended up getting married partway through while she was still a student. We were doing the long distance relationship, and I said, this isn't working. Like, either we get married or we break up. So we ended up married. It'll be 20 years this summer. So But we were here living off campus, had a lot of other students over. Their parents would stay with us. I think we've always loved hospitality, and this feels like our home was never quite big enough to do what we wanted to do.
Sure.
And now we have a space we can do it in. But yeah, we lived here. My daughter was born when we were here. Abby was a senior, actually, when my daughter was born. Moved out to Medina for 10, 12 years, I can't remember. And then right before the pandemic, we moved back. But we have 4 little kids, and this town it just felt like the right fit. We homeschooled. There's a museum. There's a library. They can bike into town, and we don't feel like they're in danger. People know them. You know, we have that community, those relationships. So we love it.
It always interests me. I want to hear your take on this. You know, husband, wife, team, small family, to decide to start a brewery. I mean, did you have to bring her kicking and screaming, or was she on board with it?
No, I feel like she's as crazy as I am.
Well, that's good. That's good.
You know, honestly, sometimes she's more the one with the big idea. Why don't we do this? And I'm the guy with the, well, what's that going to take? We'll need this and that. You know, I'm putting together the plan, and we work well together in that way.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I just, it's not a small task to do something like this. It's a huge undertaking,
Yeah.
especially when you put something together that this place looks wonderful. You know, I think you've done a great job. Beers are good. I can't wait to dive into this pizza. I know.
So we can talk about that if you want. I mean, it's so on the same side of the menu is your beers on tap, and then you have not just beers that you're serving, right? You have some seasonal cocktails and more. For people who want to know, they have 1, 2, 3, quite a large menu of seasonal cocktails, right? So
Too
old
many.
fashions and
We're having trouble keeping it on one page.
yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I think, again, wanting to be a place for community to
Sure.
happen and knowing that not everyone loves beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to have something for everyone. And yeah, we have non-alcoholic. My bartender
that.
can do mocktails. We can pretty much anything.
Do the gamut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does say that in here, but using quality ingredients, Woodford, Bullet, really cool. And you have to serve wine as well.
Yeah, we do.
Nice. It's pretty neat. And sangria. So there's your roots.
Oh, yeah. Come back in the winter. I do a mulled wine.
Okay.
And by mold, I need to specify. I have a Polish neighbor. The first time he heard it, he's like, M-O-L-D? I'm like, no. M-U-L-L-E-D, mold. Warmed up with spices. It's really good. And in the winter, you're cold. That's really, really nice.
Well, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like mulled products for
I
sure.
almost want winter to come just for that. Almost.
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 Almost, right?
Yeah.
So, coming back to Oberlin, what did you do for a job, or you're not just here full time.
No,
we chit chat about that because I'm also the same thing, right?
I am here full time, and I have a job full time. How much full time can you do?
You got it, right? So, but you're a tent maker, means you do more than one thing. So, what does that look like for you outside of here?
Software development. So I've been there 24 years. I work for IBM. We design chips, though our hardware space is really shrinking. But I'm in that little bit of the company that's left, designing chips, testing them, putting them in our mainframes. So I'm an electrical engineer, but I do programming, and the job is kind of a mix of both. But yeah, that's sit at a computer all day, and then I come get dusty and dirty and have fun.
That's great.
So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Best of both worlds. He's like, yeah,
I guess.
whatever, it's fine.
I like this better,
Yeah.
I have to say.
And does your wife still play? You said violin.
Yep. Yeah, she teaches. So Oberlin Conservatory has I don't know what to call it, like outreach program,
Sure.
community branch, whatever it is, the community music school.
Okay.
So you get a lot of even adult learners, a lot of kids, and she teaches there. Teaches violin, viola. For a while she did music theory. And we homeschool, so she's teaching the kids too. So.
Another full time job.
Yep.
And she's in charge of your kitchen.
Back here?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a home.
Yeah. Yep.
That was an obvious question. That's fun. Let's grab the next beer, and then we'll look at some of the other things, right? We have the Golden Thesis.
Yep. So that's a Dortmunder export, and yeah, just it's a lager. It's, I think, one of my. You know, somebody said, "What's your favorite beer?" And I said, "All of them." Which is your favorite kid, right? You love them all. So
Yeah, don't
this
answer
one's
that.
and you're my favorite, and you're my favorite, and you're my favorite.
That one's really good.
So it's finally where I want it to be.
Yeah.
When we opened, you know the drill, right? You get your liquor license. You can't get that till you have your health. You can't brew until you're ready to open, and then you're like, crap, I need beer.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
this was not where I wanted it to be at opening day, and now I feel like, okay, that's the beer I would have opened with, but I couldn't get it in time. So
Yeah, that's nice.
fantastic.
Very nice. You can drink that all day.
yeah.
I think that's one of the best Dortmunder style lagers in the area, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Won't
So if you haven't
mention
had
no
that yet, you
names.
should probably try it. Get yourself down here and try that beer. All of them are good. That one's really good.
Yeah.
So far, so that's
Now,
fantastic.
how many beers do you keep on tap? Or
I only have 7 right now.
okay,
But I have 10 taps, and then I have 2 that are just a little kegerator behind the bar, where if I'm brewing something small and special, or if I'm finishing. So I guess I should clarify. I don't have kegs in the back. I don't have a walk-in. I have serving tanks, and the beer goes from fermenter to serving tank to the bar.
right.
So I have a full batch, 3 barrels until it's gone on any given tap. But if I ever wanted to take off the last keg or 2, I could and serve it separately. But yeah, 10,
Yeah, I mean
at a time.
that's efficient that way. I mean, washing kegs that's a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, fewer transfers, less oxygen.
Yep,
It'll be
yep.
fresh and good.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We have another sip of this.
Do that. Let's move on to the next one. Downshift.
I'll keep this one then.
This is your downshift?
Yep. Belgian double, or double, or doppel. Man, I got one person at the bar a couple weeks ago. They were irate. You're spelling it wrong. You're saying it wrong. I'm like, okay. I don't care what it's called. It's good beer. Drink it.
Yeah. Don't yell at me.
Belgian beer.
It's a Belgian beer.
It's like, what do I know about spelling? I'm a scientist.
Yeah, right. Good point.
And a chip maker.
Chip maker, software developer.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. You know, we were talking about you're mashing up grapes, watching them ferment, and then you get into home brewing. At some point, you had to discover beer. And what was your style of beer, or maybe a particular beer that got you in?
Oh, man.
The old gateway question.
Well, honestly, the first beer was awful. I was canoeing with friends in Arkansas, and a storm came, and we pulled the canoe out of the water and waited for it to pass. And once the storm passed, somebody had overturned, and their stuff was floating by, and there were 6 packs of Bud Light or something
Yeah.
obnoxious. And I tried one, and it was not great to my palate. So for years, I told people I didn't like beer. And finally, one friend rescued me. They said, "What do you mean you don't like beer?" And they heard my story, and they said, "Oh, you haven't had beer."
Oh, you've
So
never
they took
had
me
beer.
to a bar, and they showed me craft brewing. And I don't know if there's a style that I fell in love with. Yeah, again, I enjoy it all
Yeah.
for different reasons. I do tend towards the more, I guess, in terms of my favorites. I love a Pilsner. I love
Yeah.
anything that is subtle, that you have to really just ponder to pull out the flavors and look for those little nuances. It's more interesting.
And it's more like a little more interesting than slightly carbonated alcoholic water. You know,
Yep.
It gives you a little malt to think about, a little hops to think
Yep.
about. You know,
A little headache to think about.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, when you come in, right? You come and hang out. What is the process like when people come in? Is it self-seating? What's the vibe when you come in the building? Come to the bar, order. What does that look like? If someone's coming in off the street and they've watched today and they want to come out and check you out, kind of what's the process here of service and how do you want people to see Haven as you walk in?
Yeah, I guess maybe not your typical brewery, at least some that I've experienced. I've walked into some and been a little confused, like, what do I do? And I don't want that for anyone. Again, if the point is for people to experience a safe place, you shouldn't feel awkward, right? You shouldn't have to ask what to do. So we have a host. They'll ask you if you want to sit at the bar, or they'll seat you at a table, but they're going to greet you at the door. They're going to say goodbye when you leave. If it's my daughter who's hosting, she's going to see you out there and start gesturing. Come on in, it's great. And she's brought people in that way. She's amazing. But yeah, it'll be a warm welcome. And then you'll get a menu, you'll have a server.
Okay.
It's more of a, brew pub restaurant in that sense.
Gotcha.
But also not too uppity.
Yeah.
You can be yourself.
Very nice. Has that, have you seen that kind of come to fruition with you and how that plays out? I mean, it's wonderful to have your daughter up front. We talk about this a bunch. We looked at opening up our first one, which was Avon Brewing Company, in 2014, 2015, a long time now. But we went and met with some people, and we really kind of wanted to be that local spot where people came and celebrated all of life in general, right? And back in that time, for us, it was kind of like Rocky River Brewing Company, and so we went and talked to those guys a bunch. And really the funny part was that they were like, you can do all that you want to do, have the best food, best chefs, best beer, best processes, but you pretty much leave your restaurant in the hands of a 16-year-old host, right? Hostess. And they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
They weren't wrong. It is literally what happens. They're the first people to greet you when you come in the door. They're the ones that tell you about there's a wait or where to go to your table. Set the stage for the server coming over. Just the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
It can go bad real quick.
It can go bad real quick.
Yeah.
How's that gone so far? Are you happy that your daughter's working for you?
I think,
The answer's
I
yes.
feel like it's too early to tell. No, it's yes. I think we have a great staff.
Yeah.
And the host. So we know a lot of the college students
Sure.
here in town, and some of them are working for us, and I know them, and they're great people. And so I feel like, okay, I already knew my staff before they even started working for me. I already liked them. I already knew they were amazing. So having them here is reassuring. I don't walk out wondering what's going to happen, and if it'll go
Sure.
well. I walk out knowing who's here, and they've got my back. So in that sense, I think it's great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I think, the feedback from the community has been positive as well.
Oh, totally.
The experience has been
Absolutely. Good. Next beer, and we'll talk about some food. You have the
What do we? Is this the stout? This
Yep.
is the stout,
The
Nocturn stout.
good. Yep. So this one, I have too many stout recipes. I roast my own coffee. I love black, dark, anything. But this one, I played around with my recipe a lot, and I came up with a recipe specifically for the Eclipse. And that was, I went to brew it here. This was a homebrew size. I went to make it, and I'm like, man, I got too many malts. I've got a little of this and a little of that. And I'm like, but every one is there for a reason, and I want it that way. So this is one of my more complicated recipes, but I like it. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
So
What's the-
coffee in it?
normally I do, and I confess it's out of this one mainly because in the opening of the brewery, I just didn't have time to roast that much coffee. My son has a business, Eldon. Eldon's amazing coffee. He sells it here in town. I could have asked him, but he was just as busy as I was because he was helping get the place open. But yeah, if you want freshly roasted coffee, buy from him. He roasts it when people order it, so it's always roasted within days of your order.
Oh,
Never
wow.
sits on a shelf. He's actually been approached a couple times by grocery stores, and he's said no because he doesn't know what's going to happen to the product. So he wants it to be fresh, amazing. So it's pretty good.
What's your? How do you roast? What's your system or?
For roasting?
Yeah, coffee.
We have a roaster. I mean, I've been roasting for 20 years.
Okay.
And I've burned through, started with a pot on the stove and a wooden spoon, moved
Yeah.
up to a hot air popcorn popper, moved up to a tiny,
Sounds like-
I've been through probably 10 roasters,
Yeah.
but this one's low-end commercial. It's electric, works by induction.
Oh wow.
You can roast a kilo at a time, so small batch.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I roast. I have you can do a half pound at a time. A little.
all right, well, you wrote, so it's the Alio Bullet, if you're wanting the
Oh,
name.
okay.
I love it. It's a workhorse.
Yeah, I can't afford that.
Well, we had to afford it when my son was burning through roaster after roaster
Oh,
of mine.
yeah.
I'm like, his business kept growing, and we had to switch.
Had to get it.
And it started with me having all the beans, and when he got a customer, he'd buy beans from me.
Okay.
And then it slowly grew to where he has this huge inventory, and I buy beans from him.
Nice.
So it works.
Oh, the tables have turned.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy for
Nice.
How
This
old
is
he?
I
him.
like
He's 14.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
this. It's an entrepreneur. It's very nice. It's very like across the spectrum of roastiness. It's just even and full-bodied, malty. Delicious. Love it.
Are you a family of entrepreneurs then? I mean, kind of just thinking about. I mean, so to be completely fair, I love the vibe of the family. We came in, we met everybody. The idea of what life is kind of like. I'm just assuming what it was like for you in South America. I know what life can be like up in Vermont, right?
Yep.
Little homesteading concept and the homeschooling feel and the entrepreneurial spirit and the kids, at age 14 in modern times is still young, right? But in truth, young people are able to do some really wonderful things,
Yeah.
and that opportunity to go out and to do things like roast coffee and be part of that is huge. Is that something that you have bred into in terms of kind of raised into your children? Is that something you have within you? Because you're looking at on the outside a person who does chips and IT for IBM, right?
Yeah.
And a musician. How does that come together? What does that look like? How do you cultivate that not only in your family but in yourself? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. I think for me, my dad probably instilled a lot of that in me. We lived in the jungle, the Amazon rainforest, and just seeing him, we hunted for our food, we fished. If something broke, we had to fix it. He tied his own fishing nets, did all the knots, and so I just watched him growing up. Like, if that needs to be done, well, I can figure it out. I can do it. There's nobody else to call anyway. You look at the vehicles in Bolivia. It's amazing how many parts are held up by a little piece of wire, because they don't have the money to take it to the shop or whatever. So ingenuity, creativity, and I feel like I look at every task, I'm like, oh, I can probably figure that out. If other people can do it, I can do it. So rather than looking for an expert to teach me, I just go find a book. And so my kids, the librarians know my kids really well, really, really well. They go, my son, the 14-year-old, he's reading books on Arduinos and programming and 3D printing, and he's just like, what can I do with this? So, yeah, I think maybe I instilled it. Maybe it's just in them. I don't know, but I think we like to figure things out and do things.
Yeah, I mean, if there's not a YouTube video that shows me how to do something, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, lately that's really helpful, but pre-YouTube, I still did this.
Yeah, well, you got to work for it. You got to figure it out. Yeah, take notes. This worked. This didn't. This didn't. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean,
Move on down the road.
yeah. Let's do this. What do we got? The Nutty Scholar.
Ooh, black tea, brown ale.
Ooh. I do like a nice brown ale. Yeah, that's.
Is there black tea in it?
No. I have made beer with black tea. I'm a purist. I just found myself disappointed almost every time I'd add something into my beer, especially fruit. I really don't. I need a new system this is innovation, right? I'm like, I gotta find a new way, a new way, a pioneer way for us to put fruit flavor in there that isn't chemical based, but isn't wasting hundreds of pounds to have a disappointing result. So,
We can talk.
yeah. There's a book. Yeah, there's a book on cocktails.
Yep.
Where the guy is all about the science of it and taking those cans that you pressurize for whipped cream and putting fruit or different things in, pressurize and then release, and all those flavors burst out of the cell walls, and then he uses that, purifies it like in a centrifuge. and uses it in cocktails. And so my brain goes down all these different paths. Like, how could I put that in my beer? How can I bring out the flavor? I think there's a lot we could do. But
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah.
You know, when, people always comment, we only have 2 mics. This is part of being out remote. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Get used to it.
it's a budget.
101 shows.
Yeah,
What are you
shut
going
up,
to do?
Rick Bell.
Come on. It's okay. Style-wise, right? As you mentioned, right down the pipeline, in terms of purists. These are really great beers. I love the idea that you have said to yourself, if someone's roasting coffee, why can't I do it better, right? Or just try it myself, right? I wonder how that comes around. Like, I grew up in Southern Ohio, deep Southern Ohio, cold country where we didn't have much, right? So you had to do all those things yourself too. So couldn't go to the store.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go, right? You go to the river to get produce, or you get it yourself, or you make it yourself, or you grow it. And so those are things that kind of just naturally come when you're not a what do you call it? A consumer living style, right? And so that's pretty fun. Has that kind of changed how you make beer at all? Just thinking through that process in terms of, this is what it is, this is what I have, because again, you're talking about stylistically, they're there, right, traditionally, but they're also, I think it's your take on all of that, right? And I think they're really good. Has that come into play in your brewing process?
Oh boy.
Big questions for someone who
I
came in
know,
all
I'm
ragged
like,
today.
I'm like, how do I
It's a lot,
get into
right? I
that?
mean, the red ale's great. It's a little different red ale. Is it just what you like to drink, or is it something that you thought through the process of, I'm going to do this my own way with the...
Yeah. So what I tend to do with any beer style is I just do a ton of research, a ton of reading about the style, where it came from, history of it, and then I try to find as many recipes as I can.
Yep.
And I start to collect. My wife laughs at me. I use spreadsheets for everything, right? I'm like, put together my spreadsheet, and what are the...
You don't tell me you're best friends.
Yeah. But
You just become best friends.
start to look at all the malts that people typically use and why and what flavors those are
Sure.
bringing in.
Yeah.
And then I decide, how do I want mine to taste? How do I want to differentiate myself, or what do I like and not like? And then I craft a recipe.
Sure.
I make it, I try it, I adjust it.
Yep.
Some of them I never adjust, like the Belgian. I don't know if I want to change that. That was my first try at a recipe.
That's a good beer.
I love it, and I think I'll probably just keep it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they all have my take.
There's a reason why I asked that question, right? Because as a person who is a voracious reader, and when he finds to do something, that's what I do, right? Same process as you, right? It's just nonstop. Figure things out, but I also have that kind of mental flavor palette where I can really understand through reading and trial and error and tasting that, okay, this grain is going to be exactly what I want with this yeast and this hop, and I create this formula, right, of what I would consider to be a best process. And I dig the whole point. I dig what you've done so far, because they're all good. They're all your beers, and so you're setting yourself up, I believe, to have a product line that you can say, okay, that's definitely a Haven product.
Yeah, and they'll. I don't know.
That's a good thing.
Maybe I shouldn't fess up to all these things, but I feel like every one of them right now, I'm like, well, I kind of screwed up a little here on that one, and every one I'm like, that's going to get better. The next version of that is going to be better. Next version of that's going to be better. That's going to be better. But the yeast is where I feel like I don't. The grain is the grain. Sure. Like, you can mash it a little bit differently. You can play with the recipe, but the yeast is so. I feel like I haven't wrapped my head around the yeast yet. All the variations, the flavors they produce, the different temperatures. I played my winter ale is one where I keep changing it by 1 degree in the fermentation. I'm like, okay, I like that. Nope, I don't like it. Like, just keep moving it around, trying to nail in the flavor profile. But I don't feel like I quite own that part of the process.
Well, even at that point, what are your yeast like? What do they look like under a microscope. How healthy are they? How happy are they? What's where it's going to change, unfortunately, across the board with what they're putting out,
Yep.
right? And so, how do you build that up? What does it look like? What's your process for that? And so, really, I think people always talk about brewing being, making beer with the grain and the hops and things like that. But at the end of the day, water's important, obviously, but all we're doing is making what we think to be a really great sugar water for the yeast to go to town on. They do all the work.
Yeah.
They eat the sugar water and they pee alcohol and pass gas and live their best life now, and then they fall asleep, and what we have is the end product. And so, we can change some of the temperature and get esters out of it and things like that. But, I think that what you've done so far is fantastic.
I think one of the advantages we have is sitting here as brewers in 2025 is, I started over 20 years ago brewing too, and there weren't all these craft breweries, or at least the ones that are around probably weren't brewing the beers that I was looking at and interested in. And the examples we'd get imported were old. They sit on a ship, they come over here and like,
Yeah.
oh man, this
Newcastle
ESB is, I hear it's great. It's a great example of the style,
Sure.
and I'm learning about it, and I taste it like, this is a cardboardy, papery mess. But now there's breweries everywhere. Well, not really brewing ESBs, but, brewing a lot of the styles that, back in the day I was researching and very interested in. So brewers coming up right now really have an advantage, I think, over when we started.
Yeah. And there are beers now being shipped refrigerated across the ocean. You can actually get them, and they're fresh and they're decent.
Yeah. Not so back in the day. Light struck, oxidized, and old. This is what we got.
For sure.
Yeah. What do we got here? We got the Star Bunny. That's a great name. Who came up with that?
My wife. So I am
I'm
not
seeing
the
a pattern here.
That's it. Big pattern.
I see the brains of the operation here.
I am not the wordsmith. She wanted to go into journalism. She's great with words. I'm like, take my spreadsheet, look at it, look at these numbers, and then come up with something to say. So
That's probably the most
what's about to come out of his mouth?
non-BlabberMalt way to make beer names. Pretty much everybody else says we just drink till we find a name for it, right? It's kind of fun.
So she took all of the.
These are great names, though. I'm not. These are awesome.
She took the beers.
Yeah.
And then she took things from our past, places we've lived, our relationship, that kind of stuff, and she tried to come up with names that were somehow tied into that. So, huh?
Which one are you going to start with?
Star Bunny? Okay, so that one's just a little weird. I don't know where that one comes from.
We'll have to ask her.
Did you ever think about chocolate starfish?
See, and that's a BlabberMalt way to name a beer. It's fine. I mean, to be fair, like we just did there's no microphone on purpose for that. He did say chocolate starfish. So, Rick says coffin ale. No. Is the water you use straight from the tap good, Old Lake Erie, or spring, or filtered, or bottled? That's a good question. Water profile.
Straight.
All
man.
right, you can have a bad question, Rick. It's fine. Good question.
It's filtered. Oberlin water has a reputation, and I think as we were in the 4 years leading up to opening this place, I got that question so much. You're not going to use city water, are you? No, I'm not. I filter my water at home. We drink filtered water. I'm not going to brew with city water.
Sure.
Sent it off for testing, figured out all my water profile, add what I need. I don't do reverse osmosis. That seemed like overkill.
We don't either, no.
But the water's filtered, I think, pretty decent.
Yep.
So
It's good.
There you go, Rick.
Rick, answer. Great answer. So I think that how do people get a hold of you, by the way? Because we didn't go through any of those social things earlier.
get a hold of me.
Well, not you personally. Not
well,
your digits.
Yeah,
We're
no,
not
I
asking
mean,
for your cell phone number. Like, other than walking through, downtown Oberlin, how do they look at, find out about Haven, things like that?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. We have Instagram. We're on Google. We have a website.
All Haven Brewing, not
Yeah.
Brewery.
Yeah, Haven
there-
Brewing OH.
Okay.
Because there's a Haven Brewing in Canada as well. There's actually like I don't even think it ever was an official
Those
brewery.
filthy Canucks.
Well, in California, there was one called Haven Brewing. And I think it was like a guy in his garage who just wanted to name himself. I don't think it ever was like an LLC.
That's
or
an
legit.
untapped thing you saw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he took the domain and he parked it.
Oh,
So I couldn't have it. So I had to add OH for Ohio. But I'm like, okay, that's fine.
that's
Because
not
I'm in
too bad.
Ohio.
You are in Ohio.
So.
That's fun. Anything else you want to share? Dave, what do you have? What do you have? You have other things to talk about?
Well, we're going to talk about what's coming up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, what's today? Today is the 13th.
It is.
The 20th, we are going to be out in Mansfield at Phoenix, and they're coming back to the studio on the 27th. June 10th just opened up today. If you want to get your brewery on, let us know. And the 17th, we're also working on possibly getting Four Paws in that slot.
Okay.
And we're working on getting Missing Mountain. So we've had Ann on the show a couple times, and
But never really on the show.
but we've never been out to Four Paws
Yep.
and Red Wagon, so we're gonna try to get out there.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I am itching to see the rest of this place, so I'm going to give you the mic. I'll grab the camera, and we'll follow you guys around and give us a tour of the facility.
Oh yeah.
Are you nimble on your feet?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because it's a little scary back there.
We like scary.
All right. Am I leading the way?
Let's do it.
All right.
First, we got to check out this bar. This amazing bar.
Yeah, so here at the bar, you'll see our tap handles. My neighbor right across the street is a blacksmith. He works for the college as well in some kind of, I can't remember the term for his office, but large donor, looking for money for the college. But he's a blacksmith. He's thumping away on things most nights.
Yeah,
And,
those are.
Some of them
Those
are,
are
you can
cool.
see like third from the left is a cattail.
Yeah, it's just beeping at you.
But there's a lot of plant inspired and some other stuff going on there. But
Yeah. I don't know what that beeping means.
Stop moving.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Oh, the gimbal quit. Just have to raw dog it.
this so the bar is actually cement. We were going to go for, I can't remember, something stone that looks similar, and then our contractor said, "What about cement?" And I like it. Looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. Jet black.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got the.
Yeah, the squirrel, and then actually the word Haven up there on the shelf. It's kind of weird. So up top right, had no idea we'd ever open a brewery or what we'd name it, but we had those from I think it was Hobby Lobby, sitting on a shelf in our nursery. Every time my wife would be nursing the kids when they were babies, that was up on the shelf, like that little safe. And again, that's kind of the feel. Like, this is your
Yeah.
space. This is safe. It's cozy. We felt like it belonged up there too.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
I was just taking a look at the tap room here. So the tap room space that greets you when you come in to Haven Brewing.
And we like the open kitchen. People can watch our cooks going crazy back there, making
Yeah.
messes, pulling out their hair. No. Food. So we started with a pretty simple menu, flatbreads and dips. The main thing is, you're having a drink, you want something to go with it. But we've seen other restaurants in the area open with a really extensive menu and struggle, and we did not want to do that. But the flatbreads are something that my wife has been developing for years. She's gone through, I can't tell you how many pizza stones broken. Finally, one day, she's like, I'm done with them. I brought one home. She's like, I don't want another one. I said, well, you're not going to break this one. Yes, I will. Unless I can drop it from the Empire State Building, I don't want it. And I said, you can. It's a steel. It's literally a slab of metal. And that was great. And so through COVID, we worked on, I mean, she likes to read just like I do. She was reading books on baking. She was baking every version of pain au chocolat that you could, you know, and different, trying to get the layers right and you name it. She loves to cook and bake. But this was a recipe she's developed over quite a long time. I think it's amazing. I think the flatbread is just phenomenal, the dough and the texture. So that's
how
what
about
we
the
have.
dips? I saw, you know, you have quite a few dips.
Yeah,
on
and the
menu.
dips are, again, kind of a healthier, I'd say they're... But there's a lot of vegetarian, vegan, plant-based stuff in there. But we also have the buffalo chicken, and you know we have some of the animal fats for the people who want that.
Yeah,
We don't want to leave them out. That's my son's favorite.
Now, is that, do you do nachos or?
Not yet. Again, we started small.
I mean, with the dips. What are we dipping?
So
in the dips?
every dip comes with carrots and celery.
Okay.
And then you can add an oil and herb flatbread side as well, which is, you know, just we cut it in strips. So it dips really
Scoops.
nicely.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right, are we doing this?
All
We're
right,
going
yeah,
back?
let's do this. Let's get
All right.
dangerous.
Employees only.
Top secret.
Yep, this is where the mess happens.
Yeah.
And there she is, still hard at work, my wife Abby. I'm going to,
brains behind everything.
Yeah.
and it was true. All right, let me go in first and get the light before you come
Okay.
in.
We're going to hang right here.
Oh, yeah. Sam's way more organized than I am.
Here we go.
Okay, this is a cramped space if ever there was one.
Oh, yeah.
So we had our Mother's Day brunch, and that's why you're stepping over a bunch of cups, because we don't serve coffee, but we needed coffee for brunch. So there are cups that we borrowed. If we maybe start all the way on the other side. And the reason for the mess, partly, is that I got 2 half pallets of cans, because I want to start canning for commencement here at Oberlin.
Okay.
All the students who are graduating, their families are in town, and I did not imagine how big they were in my little space, and so I had to shove all these things where
Yeah.
they normally don't live to make that happen. And I still have the coffee carafes from brunch. But so here's our system. I've got the hot liquor tank and the mash tun and the boil kettle here. I have all my grain back in that corner and, you know, mill it right here, mash it. And then I have my 6 fermenters. I had room for expansion for 2 more fermenters, but I ended up going with these instead. It's the Mueller tanks. So for lagering or anything like that.
Okay.
This is why your beer's good.
Yeah, the horizontal.
Why your-
That's part of
Right,
it.
so-
That's part of it, yeah.
I love it.
And then, yeah, our glycol, I did that all myself. That was 2 or 3 months of work and a few mistakes that cost me a lot. I learned a lot. This is the thing, I love to learn. I absolutely, and a mistake, like, well, yeah, that cost me money, but now I know more. And that's
now I
worth
won't
something.
do it again.
And I
yeah.
won't do it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
I told myself, I tell other people too, I'm allowed 1 of every type of mistake. So the day that I unhooked a valve that was still under pressure and I got blasted with crud, you know, I'm like, okay, that can happen once.
Learning
no more.
experience. Yeah, got it now.
So yeah, and then I bring the beer over, transfer all the tanks right here. Up here are hooked straight to the bar. So yeah,
These serving tanks.
yeah. So these, that's tap number 5. This has glycol running all the way up to here, and then a U-turn back to the chiller. But these are Paul Mueller. They're from Europe. So I made a tactical error early in COVID when they told me the price was going up and I should lock it in. And I didn't realize we'd get stuck for a year doing our permits and a year of construction. And these sat in my driveway for about 2 years, covered in blue tarps. Replaced those tarps 3 times. My neighbors thought I was a redneck. Maybe I am.
Maybe true.
But I got to tell you that the day I got those out of there was so weird. My daughter thought we'd find bunny rabbits and deer and a whole zoo living underneath them. But here they are.
There
and
they
I
are.
think they're great.
Looking beautiful.
So
Beautiful brewery, man.
Serving beer.
thank you.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a cool.
We
This
put
is a cool
breweries in
brewery.
very small places. This is awesome.
Yeah, and early on, my wife said, "Do you want somebody to help you brew?" And I said, "Where would they stand?" I
Yeah.
can barely. When my pump's in the middle and my hoses are running around, it fits. But I love it. It's my space, and I love it. So
Yeah, it's nice.
thanks. So, and you can. Well, I should. These are my Pilsner's coming soon. Hefeweizen, that's just a classic blonde ale. Obscurity is a black IPA. That's mine. I'd have to say if any of those were my favorite, that's mine. I had a beer in mind. Like, I want this flavor, I want this beer, I want to craft it, and I feel like I nailed it, and I love it. And then this is also a Belgian, just a Belgian blonde, but with lavender in it. So
Okay.
those are all currently fermenting, hopefully on tap soon. But
Yeah, it's great when you have a kind of an idea in your head and you can. It's like a musician when you have a song and you're trying to get it
Yeah.
out and you
Yeah,
and you do it well.
people think you're an engineer, you're not creative, but I think there's so much creativity to anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're back. We didn't die in the brewery.
We didn't. Nobody got injured.
No injuries today.
OSHA
Yep.
violations. Well, look, do you want to sit back down? Yeah.
Oh, Matthias, that young man on your left is a coffee entrepreneur. His name is Eldon.
Gimbal died. It's never happened. Do we have to pay Tom now? We probably have to pay him.
Pay Tom? Yeah. Probably twice now since I made a joke about him earlier.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. So, man, I'm in love with this place. The
It is
vibe
very
is
nice.
awesome. The brewery, I know you were worried about looking at it. That is epically placed and such an old building back there. Like, you did a great job of setting that up. So that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't been to Haven, you need to come out here. Downtown Oberlin, right here in the middle of everything. You can't miss it. As you said, at night, the sign lights up. Haven. What are your hours?
So we are closed Monday, Tuesday. We open at 4 the rest of the days. Wednesday, Thursday, we're open till 10. Friday, Saturday till midnight. Sunday at 9. And there's not a lot of places open till midnight. Sure. So I want to put in a plug for the town, though. We have an art museum that's fabulous, and it's free. And then the conservatory puts on concerts all the time. So go to one of those. Come by here afterward. Don't just come to Haven, but there's a lot of great things in town as well.
For sure.
Sounds good. Well, we've enjoyed our visit,
We
and
have.
we're going to be back. I'm going to come back and get some of that obscure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm looking forward to that black IPA.
And, oh, yeah.
For
Hefeweizen. Yeah.
Check us out, BlabberMalt, on all things social.
That's right. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. We need the followers. We're 691 followers on Facebook. We got to get over
He loves
700.
that number. He just is hyper-focused on that number.
I just looked at it today.
We're also going live on Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News.
We are cross-posting.
So check out their page for all things craft brewery news in the area.
Yep.
Any special things coming up in the world of
Nope.
beer? It's kind of a slow time
Nope,
in
nothing
May,
happening.
So, it is what it is. Medina's had their beer fest last week. Heard it went well. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So,
Visiting mom.
Kent, there you go. Check out Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery News for all of those things.
Yeah, if you're looking for news, where else are you going to get it but there?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Look forward to trying this pie in a second.
Thank
We'll
you.
be back soon.
Yes.
So, until next time, guys, stay malty, Cleveland.